Daniel Suarez gets a huge crown jewel win, winning at Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600, honoring Kyle Busch. An absolutely amazing drive at the end of the race by Daniel Suarez. We'll break that down. We'll break down exactly how he held those guys off behind him just long enough for the weather to get there and for him to get his third career win. We'll, of course, go through the top 10, some interesting finishers in the top 10. And then, of course, we'll have to break down the point standings, which is going to be big now as we head into the second half of the regular season, or the second half before the reset when the chase begins. That is now certainly a huge point of conversation. A lot of wrecks today and weird, wacky finishes with the high amount of points being paid. So the point standings are now becoming very clear. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and talk about NASCAR at Charlotte. We have a jam-packed show to get into, so I'm going to try to do this pretty quick. I do want to start out by saying, of course, we'll be doing this in honor and in memorial of Kyle Busch. Certainly, the guy I followed throughout the years. A bit hard to get up here and watch the race tonight, and a bit hard to do the video, but I feel like I'm just going to do what I know to do, which is get in here and analyze the race the best that I can, and hope you guys enjoy the video. So that's just what I'm going to do here tonight. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about it. I do want to start out saying a quick thing about the Charlotte race, the Coca-Cola 600. What a great event this has become. I feel like these four crown jewel events have really come together and shown that these are some of the four biggest races in the NASCAR Cup Series, more so over the last few years than they recently have. I remember the Coke 600 sort of, lost a little bit of that lust for a little bit. It wasn't this huge anticipated event. The Coca-Cola 600 is a very well-known event, even outside of the NASCAR community, even in pop culture. This is a very highly anticipated race, so it's exciting to come into this knowing you're going to get a pretty much sold-out crowd, about 100,000 or more, and the drivers and the teams know that too. When they win this, that's the first thing they say. This is a Coke 600. This is a big race for us, so that's what you love to hear with the big race. Daniel Suarez getting the win, absolutely crazy drive at the end. We'll break down what happened. First off, what a race for Daniel Suarez, right? What a win for that Spire Motorsports team. Their second win of the season, third of the history of Spire Motorsports. The first one came in 2019 at a Daytona rain-shortened race. This one's going to be a little more real than that Daytona rain-shortened race. At least there was a restart, right? Daniel Suarez held him off for 2 restarts. Like, it wasn't exactly like the Lightning situation with Justin Haley in 2019. Daniel Suarez has also had a very good year. He was in the top 16 in points by a good, I think he was 14th going into this race. Now moves up to the top 10. So Daniel Suarez is having a solid year, probably his best season that I can remember at least. So big win tonight for Daniel Suarez. And a cool thing about Daniel Suarez, look at the history of his team. Remember when he's been through all these different race teams in the NASCAR Cup Series, right? Like, he starts his career at Joe Gibbs, doesn't really work out, moves over to Haas for a year, Stuart Haas for 1 season, doesn't really do too well there. Remember when he raced for Gaunt Brothers? I think it was 2020, missed the Daytona 500, blew an engine on lap 1 of the second race. Like, terrible season for Daniel Suarez in 2020. So sort of a revamp of his career. He fell off maybe a little bit, or was at least upset a little bit about not re-signing with Trackhouse, but came to Spire, and it feels like for the first time, at least in this small sample size we've gotten, Daniel Suarez has found a click, right? It's like two plugs coming straight together, and it's just working for Daniel Suarez. He seems happy there. He seems like they're happy to have him, at least from the outside looking in, and winning fixes a lot of problems. So big win for Daniel Suarez tonight. And how did they do this, right? Was there luck involved? Of course there was luck involved. There's always going to be luck involved in sports, but especially when you look at a rain-shortened or rain-type event. I'm not going to say that there was no luck involved at all, but it was a call that they made because they thought it was going to be the best decision, and it just turned out to be the best decision, right? I mean, you gained 12 spots or whatever it was, taking a 2-tire stop versus a 4-tire stop, but you know that rain is coming. You're looking at the radar and you're seeing this come. You're planning ahead, and it happened to work out. That's just proper planning. Also, I do want to say there's 20 cars on the lead lap that finished this race on the lead lap. 20 of the 39 cars finished on the lead lap. I know this is step 1, but this is an important step because a lot of drivers, almost half, didn't finish on the lead lap. Okay, you have to finish on the lead lap to be in contention to try to steal wins like this, or make the riskier moves, or make the right call to win on a strategy call with weather. If you're not running in the top 20, executing on the pit stops and executing during the race and not making mistakes, not crashing out, not having tire issues. You have to take, I know that's step one and that seems basic, but it's a lot easier said than done. And they took care of step one today, and then they made the right call at the end. He also held off Denny Hamlin. Now, this might be just a little bit of right before Denny Hamlin gets by him to clear him, the caution comes out. Then, of course, you have the next restart where Suarez actually pulls away for a good little bit. So Suarez held him off there, which makes this win, I think, a lot more legitimate too. So congrats to Daniel Suarez. I like what he said about Kyle Busch helping him throughout his career. That certainly, I've heard that story a lot from him before this week also. I've heard that story quite a bit from Daniel Suarez. That Kyle, I think he's previously claimed that Kyle Busch helped him more than any other driver many of times throughout his career. So that's certainly exciting as well. Let's take a look at that top 10, right? Obviously, Daniel Suarez is going to be the winner. Big time deal for him. Christopher Bell with a nice points day, finishing second. Some stage points as well for C. Bell. Just not quite enough. He's won one in 2024. A rain-shortened Coca-Cola 600, a very rain-shortened Coca-Cola 600. Just, I think that was the shortest race of the year mile-wise because of how early it was, just past halfway. But he lost one tonight, unfortunately. Christopher Bell will lose one. So, yeah, taking one back away from him tonight with the rain. Denny Hamlin finishing third. Man, Denny is just right there, right? Every single week. He is I don't know if I want to say the most consistent, but I feel like Denny every week is like just right there about to win and just cannot get the win. Martinsville, tonight, many other races this season, you just feel like Denny should have got it. He did win the All-Star, but it's no points. It's just, oh man, Denny feels like the closest guy to Tyler Reddick right now, if not even maybe a little bit better than Reddick. Kansas was another one. Tyler Reddick finishes fourth, of course, so nobody really eats into that gap, the points gap. We'll take a look at it in a moment. Kyle Larson finishing the fifth position. Nice run for him. Been looking for some better results out of the 5-team. Ty Gibbs finishing sixth. Good run for Gibbs, who's having a very good year this season. Much better than we've seen the last few years. A career year probably for Ty Gibbs in the 54. You're seeing that next generation sort of step up more. I see Joey Logano finishing eighth. Now, that is big for Logano because Logano's been not so great on the mile-and-a-half tracks this year. This has been a struggle for them. They've been good on the short tracks, not other type of racetracks or speedways. Finishing eighth tonight is great. William Byron ninth, which is where they've been at all season, about 7th through 12th every race all year. Right there in that this year, ninth for William Byron. Zane Smith, big day for Zane Smith. Got some stage points and finished 10th today. So a nice run for Zane Smith, who's had a solid year. Front Row Motorsports is not going to be top tier equipment this season. So for Zane Smith to be running fairly decent and getting some TV time is, I think, a big deal for that team for sure. Not on the top 10, but SVG finishes 11th. Hands down, the best Charlotte race, or the oval race that we've seen SVG run so far, hands down. Like, this is the best I've seen SVG on an oval. It's like you said, when you get out in the clean air, that's when you can really expose things. Well, he handled the clean air very well out front. Did a very good job, finished 11th today, and took advantage of that top starting spot. So I think today was a big statement for SVG. We talk about, Steve Letarte said it on the broadcast, something I really liked. He's moved the needle tonight because, you're sort of like, okay, where is he at on the ovals? He's better than he was, but is it that good? Well, tonight you see that he's at least comfortable. He can at least run them. He can at least not wreck when he's up front. That's the difference we're seeing in SVG now, which can be big for sure. Let's take a quick look. We did have a lot of wrecks tonight that will affect the points. That's why I want to bring them up. Austin Cindric gets involved in a wreck with Connor Zillicher. There were some hard hits there. Glad to see Austin Cindric get out of the car okay in this incident, but a tough break there for the two-car wreck out in stage one. Same thing with Chase Elliott. That's a big one. Elliott was in the top 3 in points. It's going to take a points hit, only getting 1 point on the day after hitting that inside wall. And Chase Elliott has said, just been a rough career at the Coke 600. Lost it in 2020 in a heartbreaking overtime or green white checker finish, and then just has not really capitalized on this event as his career. I believe Chase Elliott has no crown jewel race wins, which is just crazy to think about. If you just kind of take a step back and look, whoa, Chase all these win, championship driver, no crown jewels. That's unfortunate. Ross Chastain getting involved in the wreck as well. Looks like he was, I don't know if it was really a bad move. Dale Jr. and them sort of talked about it on the broadcast. I'll just tell you what happened. Looks like the 47 had a run going and he didn't lift. I don't blame the 47. I don't blame the 1. It was just a clash of two different lines being ran there, and unfortunately Chastain had to pay the price for that one. Chase Briscoe gets in that wreck with Chris Buescher, which is also a big one. Chris Buescher was in the top 5 in points going into this week. Wrecks out, does not get a good finish at all. That very same situation that we saw with Chastain and Stenhouse the earlier, the exact same type situation. Briscoe just has such a run, cuts down. This one was too wide, but yeah, just an unfortunate situation. I'm not going to try to place blame. I'll just show it, and other people can argue what they think about those instances. So certainly very interesting. Let's pull up that point standings now, because we're now 13 of the 26 races complete. We finished the highest points paying races of the season, Daytona and Charlotte. So now we can really look at this. Tyler Reddick has 620 points. Nobody else has 500 yet, with Denny Hamlin at 498, 122 back. I don't know if anybody's going to catch Reddick before the end of the regular season heading into the chase, but we'll just have to continue to watch it, because he has a heck of a points lead, and there's a good chance he'll win the regular season. Has not mathematically clinched the chase yet, but he will make the chase. Same thing with Denny Hamlin. Nice points lead there. Ryan Blaney third. Ty Gibbs still in fourth. Chase Elliott does fall back to fifth, unfortunately. Kyle Larson moves up to sixth after a nice run tonight with some points. Larson has not been very consistent this year, so a good points day for him, bumping him back up to sixth. Buescher down to seventh. A lot of movement in the top 10. 8 of the top 10 moved tonight in the point standing, so that's going to be big as well. Christopher Bell eighth. Carson Osavar falls to ninth tonight after a bad run. And then Daniel Suarez with a big win. Wins pay a lot of points now. Daniel Suarez up in the top 10. Like I said, career season for D. Suarez. Brad Keselowski holding on to 11th. William Byron back in 12th. That's a little low for the 24 for sure. Bubba Wallace 13th. Has fallen a lot. Just a lot of bad finishes for Bubba throughout the season. SVG still hanging on to 14th there. Briscoe back up into the top 16. The RFK Ford of Ryan Preece currently on the bubble, 15 above, with Austin Cindric wrecking tonight is going to put him 15 points below, which is certainly not going to be great for that team. Zane Smith in 21st moves up a little bit, 59 points out of the chase bubble. But like I said, the cool thing about this year versus the last few years is seeding is extremely important every week now, right? Like if you make the chase at 16th or 15th or 14th, you're going to be so far behind entering that chase. It's going to be very difficult to catch up and win a championship. Not only you're just probably not doing that well on speed, but yeah, just it would be a lot more difficult with that big 100-point buffer from 1st to 16th. So I think that's what makes this point standings and this chase rule and this points season so exciting to watch. Is seeding matters, and I've heard Kevin Harvick say it on the Fox booth. You got to be at least in the top 6 to have a real shot to win the title. I don't know if that's true. We'll see. But yeah, it's certainly fun to watch. We'll continue to track it through the summer portion of the schedule now, finishing out the year. We do have to mention Catherine Legg attempting the Indy Charlotte double. It was I love talking about the double. It just makes the day so much more fun and exciting for me, the overall day. You have the Indy 500. Catherine Legg only makes it 18 laps. Unfortunately, a car wrecks in front of her. There are some instances where I would say, oh, well, you could tell he was going to go this way, or you could tell he was going to go that way. I don't know. I don't see a situation in this wreck where Catherine Legg had anything she could have done. Just unfortunate there. Didn't want to hit him. And just the only move that she really could have made there. So unfortunate for Legg. She doesn't finish the Indy 500. A bad day in Charlotte, too. There's not much you can do in that 78 car. The tire does fall off at one point. Loose wheel. That's on the pit crew. So was it a highlight Indy 500 Charlotte double? Definitely not, but I do feel like it's worth talking about because she's one of the few drivers that have ever been able to start both races in the same day. She didn't do a very good job at completing them all. It would have been very difficult in the equipment she had, but she was also the first woman to attempt the double, so that's also exciting to see. And something for the record books as well. So that's it. Really all there is to talk about following the Charlotte race. I tried to cover everything as best as I could. Of course, we will do a review next week following NASCAR in the Music City, Nashville. That's exciting. I love the summer portion of the schedule. I thought Prime did a great job on the broadcast tonight. They seem very in touch with NASCAR. So that's it. Of course, like and subscribe if you like the video. And I will do a video next week after Nashville. And of course, as I sign off every week with Dirty Air, and this will not change, let's get rowdy.